Welcome back. We move to the bottom of the ninth of Game 1 of the 1908 World Series on Gameday Radio. It's the last chance for the Tigers here at Bennett Park in Detroit. They entered the ninth with a one-run lead over Chicago, but after Detroit pitcher Ed Summers surrendered 5 runs on 6 hits, the Tigers now trail the defending champion Cubs by a score of 10-6. Mordecai Three-Finger Brown takes the hill to begin his second inning of work for Chicago. The pitcher's spot in the batting order due up for Detroit, and it looks like we will have a substitution. No surprise there. Davy Jones will be pinch hitting for Ed Summers. Brown steps up and is ready to go. Here comes his first pitch. A curveball that just misses for ball 1. The bottom of the ninth inning is brought to you by Coca-Cola, a delightful, palatable, and healthful beverage. Still only 5 cents a bottle. Coca-Cola, the most refreshing soft drink in the world. Brown looks in to Johnny Kling for the sign, winds up, and delivers. That curveball catches the inside corner for a called strike. The count now 1-1 on Jones. Davy, a left-handed batter, making his first plate appearance of the game in a pinch hit situation. He's batting .207 with 25 hits and 10 RBIs this season. The next pitch from Three-Finger is swung on and missed for strike 2. Brown now ahead of the batter, 1-2. The nickname Three-Finger, very appropriate for Mordecai Brown. He lost most of the index finger on his throwing hand in a childhood farming accident. The absence of the finger does not seem to hinder his pitching ability in any way, however. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one line foul to the left side. Look out! The count remains 1-2. Detroit has overcome one 4-run deficit already this afternoon. Can they do it again? They put up 2 in the last frame against Mordecai Brown. Brown getting a nice new ball from umpire Jack Sheridan, and he proceeds to rub the shine off of it. He climbs up and is ready to throw. Here it comes. And Jones watches it go by for a called strike 3. 1 out. That was a beautiful changeup that caught the outside part of the plate. It just froze the batter. And nothing gets a pitcher's blood pumping like hearing the sweet song of a called third strike. We're in the bottom of the ninth of the opening game of the 1908 World Series. The hometown Detroit Tigers trail the Chicago Cubs by a score of 10-6. Chicago just put up 5 of their 10 runs in the top half of the inning. Now batting for Detroit, left fielder Matty McIntyre. McIntyre, the left-hander, 2 for 3 today with a stolen base and a run scored. Brown ready to work, and the first pitch to McIntyre comes in low for a ball. Matty singled to right to lead off for the Tigers and later scored the first Detroit run. In the 6th, he bunted for a single and then reached in the 7th when he was hit by an Orville overall pitch. Three-Finger winds up and throws the 1-0 pitch. McIntyre lets it go for ball 2, 2-0. Matty flied out in the 3rd and committed an error also in the 3rd, one of 2 Tiger errors in that inning in which Chicago put up their first 4 runs. 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the ninth. Detroit trails Chicago 10-6 in Game 1 of the 1908 World Series. Brown fires a fastball which misses up high for another ball. Mordecai now behind in the count 3-0, the last place a pitcher wants to be, and McIntyre, the Detroit leadoff hitter, has shown great patience and worked himself into a very favorable count. The Tigers need base runners. Let's see if Matty gets the green light from Huey Jennings to take a whack at the 3-0 pitch. Brown winds up and delivers another fastball, this one right down Main Street, and McIntyre lets it go for a called strike. So now 3-1 on Matty. No green light from Jennings on that 3-0 pitch. McIntyre didn't even move a fraction of an inch out of his stance. Brown walks back up the hill, takes a deep breath, and gets himself focused on the next pitch. Three-Finger throws the next one to the left-hander McIntyre, and it comes in low and inside. Ball 4. McIntyre gets a free pass and trots on down to first. A runner at first and 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth, with Detroit trailing Chicago 10-6 in Game 1 of the 1908 World Series. And a substitution. Ira Thomas is going to pinch hit for the shortstop O'Leary. Thomas with a .307 batting average in 40 games played this season. Thomas, a big right-handed hitter. He steps into the batter's box and gets ready. Here comes the first pitch from Brown, which Thomas looks at for a ball. Ira Thomas with 31 hits, 6 runs scored, and 8 RBIs. The pitcher, Mordecai Brown, not in trouble yet. Only 1 runner on, and fortunately for him, the Cubs have a 4-run cushion. Brown climbs up, toes the rubber. Pitch coming in. Thomas cracks that one into shallow left field, and he'll be aboard with an easy single. Matty McIntyre advances to second and will stop there on the line drive single to left by Ira Thomas. Now Detroit has runners at first and second with 1 out, and things just got a little more interesting for Mordecai Brown and the Chicago Cubs. And it looks like Huey Jennings is going to send in George Winter to pinch run for Ira Thomas. So it'll be McIntyre at second and Winter the runner at first. And now making his 5th trip to the plate today is center fielder Sam Crawford. Sam hitless today with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. And the next offering from Brown is swung on and missed by Crawford, strike 1. Crawford batting .311 this season with 184 hits, 80 RBIs, and 7 home runs. He's a very dangerous left-handed hitter. Three-Finger Brown performs a quick check of the infield, looks in for the sign from Johnny Kling, and sets. Here's the pitch. Crawford swings hard and fouls that one straight back out of play. Crawford quickly in the hole 0-2. Sam struck out in the first, lined out to Johnny Evers in the 4th, grounded out in the 6th, and walked and scored a run in the 8th. Brown is ready to throw. He'd really like to get Crawford to strike out after getting ahead in the count 0-2. The pitch. High fly ball to deep center field. Solly Hoffman drifting back. He's under it and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Tagging up and advancing to third is McIntyre. He'll do so without a throw. And now Detroit is down to their final out. 2 men on, and they trail Chicago by 4 runs in the opening game of the 1908 World Series. And now here comes Tiger shortstop Ty Cobb, who is 2 for 3 today with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Ty scored the go-ahead run on a Johnny Evers error in the top of the 8th, but can he help Detroit overcome the 4-run deficit they face here in the 9th? Brown back on the hill. He's ready to pitch. Here it comes. Cobb, batting left-handed, lets that one go for a ball. 1-0. Ty singled to right in the 1st, grounded out in the 4th, singled and scored in the 7th, and reached on an error and later scored in the 8th. He's the only Tiger to cross the plate more than once today. Brown's next pitch comes in low for a ball. The count moves to 2-0. It's crunch time for the Tigers, bottom of the 9th, 2 on, 2 out, and they trail Chicago 10-6 on a rainy and blustery Saturday afternoon at Bennett Park in Detroit. Mordecai Brown ready to go. The delivery. Cobb swings and hits a sharp grounder right back to the mound. Brown fields it cleanly and tosses over to Frank Chance at first to get Cobb, retire the side, and win Game 1 of the 1908 World Series. Mordecai Three-Finger Brown gets the win for the visiting Chicago Cubs, while Ed Summers takes the loss for Detroit. For the Cubs, it's 10 runs on 14 hits with 2 errors and 9 left. The Tigers scored 6 runs on 10 hits with 3 errors and 7 men left on base. We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, the General Motors Corporation, the Ford Motor Company, and the Coca-Cola Company for helping us bring you today's game on Gameday Radio. Once again, your final score, the Chicago Cubs 10 and the Detroit Tigers 6. You've been listening to the Chicago Cubs at the Detroit Tigers and the opening game of the 1908 World Series. Thanks for tuning in to Gameday Radio.